Hi, my name is Marie Dracula, and I am giving my persuasive speech on the effects of alcoholism, the different types of patterns, and the routes of administration. I'd say that I'm here to show and share information with you not only in regards to on an educational level, which I've been learning through ADS classes since starting my education, but also through my personal experience of being an alcoholic myself and gratefully in recovery for over 25 years now. 5 patterns of use that I have learned since continuing on with my higher education would be the experimental use, which is just the curiosity type of use of college students, young high school, teenagers, trying something new, maybe doing it because everybody else is doing it, or due to peer pressure. Well, why not just one? Wanting to fit in. The experimental. I first experimented with alcohol at the age of about 15 years old. I do remember that day quite clearly. It was a Halloween night, and my mother had taken me downtown where we live. It's in a rural area, for a haunted house. And a group of my friends, whom were all older than me, did have alcohol there, and I did take a drink, which was peppermint schnapps. My mother, when she came to pick me up after a couple of hours, was very aware of the fact that I was intoxicated and brought me home, and it kind of started out from that. So I guess my experimental use kind of ran into the second pattern, which is a social recreational use, which is the type of use that is more patterned in more of a social setting with a group of friends, which I was with. So those two types of patterns of use with the experimental and social were kind of combined for me at that time. I guess I could just say that it was out of curiosity, but due to peer pressure also. And I stayed in this type of pattern, these two types of pattern of alcohol use until I was about 18 years old. At that time, that was when I first was entered into a treatment center by my parents for the very first time. The next type of pattern would move on to the type 3 pattern of the circumstantial and situational use, which is using alcohol and or drugs to cope with stress. And looking back from the first time that I was admitted to treatment, my drug of choice has always been alcohol. I have experimented with drugs, various types of drugs over the years, but have always resorted back to alcohol as my drug of choice. When I went to treatment for the first time, it was dealing with the stressors, my family, my friends, working, school, just, normal everyday stressors. But since I had taken that first drink, that was my way to cope with the situations I was dealing with at that time. And at that time when I went into treatment the first time, I came out with the knowledge of, well, yeah, I probably maybe do have a problem, but, it wasn't anything that I couldn't handle, so there was a lot of denial within that time. The fourth type of pattern of use would be the intensified use. It's more on a daily basis, but the individual would still be functional, able to go to school, to keep a job, to do your everyday life duties. And it was during this time that fine line of just the alcohol abuse to becoming an alcoholic. And that was when I crossed the line, as when I started using on an everyday basis. At that time I went into treatment for the second time when I was about 22, 23 years old. And at that time realized that, okay, I did not only have a problem with alcohol, but I was an alcoholic, and it was to the point of knowing that, I could not drink as a normal person could drink as a social drinker. So, and then we move on to the more compulsive use, and this is the diminishment of the social interactions. You're more isolated, you rely on the alcohol, you rely on getting that every single day. That's when the body starts, you're not controlling the alcohol is controlling you and your body functions. You need that beer every single day in order to wake up, to move, to function, basically. And that is a very, very a devastating, detrimental part of your health aspects. That's when my health started deteriorating, and has been since that time. Right now, I do have liver disease, and I've been treated for that because of my alcohol use over the years. I was then admitted into treatment for the third time after being in an abusive relationship with my husband, ex-husband, and that, coupled with the alcoholism, contributed to the compulsive use. And this was the most difficult time I had ever experienced. It was waking up in the morning not being able to walk straight, but like walking like you're drunk, your eyes are all blurry, but you haven't had one touch of alcohol. It was your body needing that taste or that alcohol in your system for your body to function. And that was a very, very, very difficult time. And I knew at that time, if I did not get out of the situation that I was in, the next step or the next level would be, that isn't really discussed in these patterns, was death. I was just short of the grand mal seizures and going into the comatose stage of where my alcoholism had taken me, And over the years of all of this, it wasn't me, even though it was me saying, I'm only hurting myself, it was the ones that were around me. My children seeing me, as an alcoholic drinking, times that, I wish that I could go back and take back, but you never can take them chances back. And that was my decision to make this speech as a persuasive one to anyone out there that does struggle with alcoholism. Drug addiction is the same way, The routes of administration through alcoholism and drugs. Alcoholism is mainly oral injection, you drink it. The drugs is a little bit more intensified, where you can use injections, the needles, and one of the most deadliest is the inhalation, which will go directly to your brain. I didn't realize the severity of when they talk about inhalants until I was in treatment for the third time, and I had met a client there who was there solely for inhalants and the experiences he had gone through. Now knowing and looking back and not being able to change the things that I have done during my addictive years, my active years as an alcoholic, my addictive ways of how much it had hurt, and how much I had hurt my family, disappointed them, angered them, and all the feelings, the overwhelming feelings that one goes through. You can never take those feelings or those actions back, and all you can do is make the next day better and to keep going forward and knowing that it's okay, that, we do make mistakes, and as long as they are learned from mistakes, that we will be better tomorrow. So thank you.